Alright, welcome to another episode of the Dabbling DIYer.
This is going to be part 1 of our outdoor kitchen garden.
Welcome to the Dabbling DIYer.
Follow along for more tips, tricks, and ideas for cost-saving projects, because we get into a little bit of everything.
Alright, we start this project off just like we would anything else. We get our layout. Right now I'm just taking measurements, just trying to figure out how big I want to make this outdoor kitchen garden. Alright, just hold up 1 second before you start tearing the yard up. And let's look at a drawing of what we're wanting to do. So quick and simply, we're going to have a patio with raised beds surrounding it, a brick-fired oven, and our grilling area at the back. So let's get to it. So all I'm going to do is just level the area, try to get most of the grass out of the area. We all dream of an area where we can enjoy time with our family. I love to grill out, so this little kitchen garden will be perfect for that. We may even incorporate a fire pit in the middle of it. I'm not really sure 100% yet, but we will see how it comes together.
Alright, so here we have it. Got our area cleared. On to the next step. Now that we have our area cleared, what we're going to do is I've already marked off somewhat. You can see some lines where I'm going to put my planter boxes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay landscape matting or weed mat, whatever you want to call it, over the entire area that I want to cover. And then I'm going to put my raised planter beds in so that you guys can see what they look like. As you can see, we left off last night where we laid all of the landscape fabric. We've got our whole area laid. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move our garden planters or our raised boxes onto our fabric, and then we have got a trailer load of crush and run gravel that we're going to lay down, get this area leveled out a little bit better, and then we will go from there.
So all of these raised planter boxes are built from white oak. We had a white oak tree that was right beside the carport when we moved into this house, so we had that tree cut down, and instead of cutting the wood up and using it as firewood, I actually took it to a local sawmill. We had those sawn up into 1-inch boards, and I had initially saved them to build farmhouse tables, coffee tables, things like that. But since there was a lot of checking and cupping, I decided I was just going to go ahead and use this white oak for these raised planter beds. Just a few interesting facts about white oak wood. White oak is basically a wood that has a closed cellular structure. So basically it's water and rot resistant. This is one of the main reasons back in the day that white oak was used to make wine and whiskey barrels. They age wine or whiskey in white oak barrels. It's also used in other things such as mission style oak furniture back in the day. It's also used in shipbuilding. If you know of the USS Constitution, old Ironsides, which was built back in, I believe, 1797-ish. I believe it is the oldest ship that is still afloat for the U.S. Navy, built in 1797, made of white oak and a combination of live oak. So just a couple interesting facts about white oak itself.
I don't know how much my legs can take.
Alright guys, we have some of our raised planter boxes. These are the 8 that I have built. We're going to have 2 more at the front, and the back is actually going to be where I put our outdoor kitchen. We're going to have a grill, we're going to have a brick fired oven, we're going to have a little tabletop area. So this is the raised beds, or these are the raised beds. So these raised beds were really simple. As I said, I still got some white oak left, but all I did was cut these to length. I used 2x4s in the corners, just a simple box, and then I did put a coat of redwood or red cedar stain on these on the outside. And then on the insides, what I did was I got some 6mm plastic, just your regular black plastic. You can get it at the big box store. And I just lined the inside just for a little more protection. All right, so our next step, now that we've got our beds where we want them, is we're going to unload this trailer of crush and run, and we're going to fill the inside in because we're going to be laying slate. We're going to lay a slate patio. So that will be our next step. So let's get started unloading this crush and run gravel. If I'm still here when we're done, you'll know my back is okay.
So the goal here is to get a 3 to 4 inch layer of crush and run that will act as our base to the patio.
All right guys, so I figured I would take 1 second. We've got almost all of the crush and run unloaded. Basically what we're using for the base of our patio or our slate is just crush and run. It is a mixture of sand, rock dust, and gravel. It packs really nice, and that's what we're using for the base. So this is where we're at right now. We've got a good 2 to 3 inch layer of rock dust, or excuse me, we got a 2 or 3 inch layer of crush and run on the inside. Actually, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a 2x4 and we're going to screed this just to get it leveled out, some of the humps, and then we will pack it down. So let's get started on that. So now that we've got the base down, the next thing to do is going to be to pack this down, and then we will see if we need to get some sand. So there's many different ways, or many different ways that people say you can lay a patio. Some people say to use straight rock dust. Some people say to use crush and run and sand, 4-inch layer of crush and run, and then an inch layer of sand. Some people will just use crush and run, pack it, lay their patio. You're going to hear a lot of different ways to do it. I've done it this way before and it's worked well for me. So we're going to pack this crush and run down with a hand tamper, and then after that, if I need to get some sand, we'll get about an inch layer of sand on everything, and we'll get to laying our slate. And what we're going to be using is just a hand tamper, because I have one. And this down, as you can see, this side here's been tamped. This side's obviously loose. So we're going to go ahead and pack all this down. It's probably going to take a little bit. So when I get done, I will come back and show you guys what it looks like. Go ahead and do your back, your arms, your hands a favor and just rent you one of the compactors. I think they cost around 60 bucks to rent for a day. I obviously have a compactor, but if you don't have one, don't buy a handheld one. Go rent you one. It'll be a lot faster and a lot easier on you. So we've got this packed. Our next step is going to be taking this sand and we're going to be putting it out. What we're going to do is we're going to lay, because we want to get this sand level, we're going to lay a couple pieces of 1-inch PVC pipe about 6 to 8 feet apart. That way, once we get the sand in there on top of it, we can take our 2x4 and we can screed across the top of those pieces of PVC pipe, and that should get it all pretty level. At least it will be even to the top of the PVC pipes. So let's start getting this sand. Well, first let's get these PVC pipes put in, and then we'll get the sand put in and we'll get it leveled out. Alright guys, my phone died on me, but what we did was we put all the sand down, and then we took our 2x4 and we ran it across the top of those PVC pipes. Alright, welcome back to another day of the Dabbling DIYer. So now that we have got our sand leveled out to where I need it, what we're going to do is start laying our slate pavers. I'll stick a picture up, but I have a whole trailer load of slate pavers. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here at the front and work our way back. That way I'm not walking on this sand. I've already got a few shoe prints in here that I don't need. I'm trying to keep it as level as I can. And as we're laying it, I'm going to take just a little rubber hammer, tap them into place. And then once we get a larger portion, once we get a larger area done, then we'll be able to walk around a little bit more. So let's get started laying some of this slate, and I'll try to show you guys what I'm doing as I go. Guys, we are slowly getting some of this slate laid. We will come back with smaller pieces and fill in the gaps. I'm just trying to get some of the bigger pieces in. I'm going to continue to work on this, and then as I progress further, I will show you guys what it looks like. All right, guys, we've got about 3/4 of this slate laid. I did a little test in the corner what it's going to look like once it's finished. So we're going to stop this video here today. We'll have a part 2 next week. You guys come back, we'll finish the patio, we'll get our seams filled, and then we will start filling our planter boxes and working on the other things that we're going to work on. The brick fired oven, we're going to have a grilling area. So I appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you guys next week.